Welcome in, everyone. Whether you're, commuting right now or maybe prepping for a big meeting or just naturally curious about the world, welcome to today's deep dive. I'm so glad you're here as a learner with us today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. It's going to be a really good one.
So I want you to think about a very specific feeling. It's that feeling you get when you finally make a massive, really difficult decision. It's almost like clicking a heavy deadbolt into place.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. It's that immense comfort of certainty, right? You've weighed the pros and cons, agonized over the spreadsheets, and then boom, decision made.
Exactly. You write the plan in permanent ink and you feel safe. But what happens when you suddenly realize the door you just locked is on the completely wrong house?
Oh man, that is a terrifying moment.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of exhilarating.
Right. And that is the mission for today's deep dive. We are going to explore the actual mechanics of the quote-unquote aha moment. Like, what happens when sudden inspiration strikes, and how we handle the realization that a carefully made plan needs to just be, well, totally torn up.
And we have a really unique stack of sources to help us unpack this today. We're looking at two texts from Tarot by High C, dated today, May 17th, 2026.
Yeah, the first one is this highly specific astrological forecast, and then the second is a companion fable, a StoryScope, that maps these exact themes onto a narrative about a very stubborn watchmaker.
Which is such a brilliant way to process this, honestly. It takes this big concept of sudden change and grounds it in human resistance.
Okay, let's unpack this because, how often do you stubbornly stick to a decision just because you already made it? Today, we're going to challenge that exact instinct.
Definitely. So looking at the astrological context from the forecast, we're dealing with Mercury conjunct Uranus. And this coincides with Mercury entering Gemini, which lasts until June 1st.
And the forecast lays this out as a massive, unexpected burst of clarity.
Exactly. Information just drops suddenly. Fresh concepts emerge out of nowhere to shake up our traditional mindsets. But what's fascinating here is that the source explicitly frames this not as chaos for the sake of chaos, but as an awakening.
A necessary breakthrough.
Right. There's this crucial quote from the text that says, "Decisions made earlier in the week were necessary, but they are not immune to new information."
Oh, I love that. It totally reframes how we view past choices. Like they aren't cages, they're just stepping stones to get us to this new vantage point.
Yeah, exactly. You aren't failing just because you changed your mind based on new data.
But let's try to visualize what that actually feels like mentally. The forecast describes this Mercury and Gemini energy as, an expansion of the mind, heightened nervous energy, effortless communication.
It's very fast-paced.
Right. It sounds exactly like opening your web browser and having like 50 tabs load all at the exact same time. You're just flooded with data and passing thoughts.
Oh, totally.
But then you add the Mercury conjunct Uranus aspect, and the text says this rewrites the script we thought we were following. So it's not just 50 tabs open. It's like having 50 tabs open while your computer suddenly rewrites its own operating system.
That is the perfect analogy. Because an OS rewrite fundamentally changes how you process the data in all those tabs. The actual rules of the machine are altering.
Yeah, but here's where I want to push back a little. Because having your operating system rewritten while 50 tabs are blasting noise at you sounds completely exhausting.
Oh, for sure. It's overwhelming.
And the text also warns us not to chase every new idea, right? It says, don't be too mercurial. So how do we actually know which of those 50 tabs is the real breakthrough and which is just a shiny distraction?
Well, the source advises that we must pick the one idea that actually has potential and build on it. True intuition isn't loud or chaotic. To find the genuine breakthrough, you have to let the system restart and shut down the other 49 tabs.
Right, which pivots us so seamlessly into our second source, the StoryScope for the full moon in Scorpio. Because this fable perfectly mirrors how hard it is to actually shut down those tabs and accept the new operating system.
Oh, Elias Trundle. He is the living embodiment of resisting that change.
Yes. Meet Elias. He is a watch repairer living in a city that's going through what the old people call the fastening season. And Elias loves certainty.
He really does. He loves screws, springs, and total predictability.
Right, he fixes watches no one even wears anymore in this narrow shop beneath a railway station. And when the story opens, he has just slid his own deadbolt into place. He accepted a council offer to sell his shop so they can build an illuminated market.
And he's taking the money to move to the coast where he says clocks still behave sensibly.
Exactly. The signed paperwork is literally folded in his pocket. Finished. Resolved. Safe.
And those words are so deliberate. He's building a fortress of finality, trying to outsmart the unpredictability of the universe.
But then the disruption hits. The Uranus energy sweeps into the city like a wave, and it's wild. The text says the city wakes to the sound of murmurs and scraps of thought drifting like silver leaves.
It's this highly generative, creative chaos.
Yeah. People just start acting erratically. A baker forgets about bread and invents sugared rain. A postman abandons his route halfway through just to paint oceans he's never seen.
Oh, and the woman on River Street. She sells her umbrella shop to build kites shaped like impossible birds just because she overheard a stranger humming an unfinished melody.
It's amazing. But look at how Elias reacts. He is so uncomfortable. He mutters to himself, "Mines should stay where they are put."
Right, because he represents our own biological resistance to the forecast. He's gripping that folded paperwork in his pocket because these people are breaking their contracts with reality. He is clinging to the, quote, decisions made earlier in the week.
Which makes the anomaly in his shop so incredible. It's shortly afternoon, and Elias's radio speaks to him. But it doesn't speak through the speaker. It speaks through the silence between the sounds.
And that is exactly how intuition works when your brain is frantic with those 50 tabs. The real signal, the breakthrough surfaces in the gaps, in the shower, or that pause before you check your phone in the morning.
Wow, yeah. And the message the radio delivers in that silence is so jarring. It whispers, "You repaired the wrong thing."
Oof. What a gut punch for a guy who repairs things for a living.
Seriously, and instantly the shop shifts. The clocks he has trusted his entire life all stop at random times. Noon 23, 11:46, 3 minutes to midnight.
The old operating system has officially failed.
And one impossible clock simply reads, "Soon."
I love that. Soon isn't a measurement of time, it's an anticipation of potential. His tools for measuring reality are totally broken.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Elias is annoyed, obviously. The sensible thing would be to go home, pack his bags, and take his paperwork to the coast. But instead, he walks deeper into the rusty railway tunnels.
He's compelled.
Yeah, why does he do that? Is it magic, or is it just raw curiosity? It feels exactly like when you're stubbornly set on a career path, right?
Yeah.
But suddenly it's 2 a.m. and you find yourself compulsively researching a totally unrelated field, like marine biology or something.
Yes. You don't even know why you're looking at it. That compulsion is your subconscious recognizing a pattern that your conscious mind just hasn't accepted yet. Elias is feeling that heightened nervous energy of the astrology transit.
He's being drawn toward the new information.
Exactly. And down in those tunnels, he finds a blue door. And the text notes that it wasn't hidden, it was just unnoticed.
Right, and across the front in chalk it says, "For those who don't mind changing their mind."
If we connect this to the bigger picture, how many blue doors do we walk past in our own lives simply because our cognitive deadbolts are locked?
Oh, wow.
The opportunities are there, they're just invisible to a mind that's already decided the future is fixed.
That is so true. So Elias opens the door, and inside is this cacophony of Gemini energy. It's the room of unfinished maps. Gardeners are arguing with mathematicians. Inventors are sitting with school children.
It's pure, expansive curiosity.
Yeah, they're asking these wild questions like, what if grief behaves like weather, and why not grow houses?
They aren't interested in being correct.
Yeah.
In our professional lives, we're obsessed with getting the right answer, the optimized strategy. But these people are just swapping ideas without the paralyzing fear of being wrong.
Right, they don't mind changing their minds. So Elias is in the middle of this beautiful chaos, and a woman in silver gloves approaches him. She knows he's supposed to be leaving for the coast, but she says, "Then perhaps you're exactly on time."
Such a great line.
And she hands him a small brass watch. Elias recognizes the craftsmanship instantly. It's his, he made it, but he hasn't made it yet.
It's an artifact from his own future. The operating system rewrite manifested physically.
Exactly. And it's engraved with the words, "For what arrives unexpectedly." But here is the most mind-bending detail from the source. Instead of numbers on the face of the watch, it displays questions.
What if? Why not? Who said? Try again.
Yes, and this is the epiphany. This is where he finally receives new information. He realizes he has been building the wrong machines his entire life.
Wait, really? So he realizes he shouldn't be a clockmaker.
Right. Well, not exactly. He realizes he shouldn't be building clocks to measure time. He should be building permission.
Oh, wow. Permission.
Yeah. Tiny mechanisms that remind people that time isn't a cage, but an invitation. This perfectly ties back to what you were saying about the sunk cost fallacy.
Right, because his past wasn't a waste. The years he spent mastering springs and gears, that meticulous tension, he needed all of that exact skill to build devices that dismantled rigid timekeeping.
Decisions made earlier in the week were necessary. The script he thought he was following gets rewritten, and to break through. The raw materials of his old identity are the exact foundation for his new purpose.
That is the empowering part of a true breakthrough. It's terrifying to realize your plan is wrong, but your skills are perfectly suited for the new path.
And Elias feels that shift instantly. The signed papers in his pocket, that whole safe plan for the coast, it suddenly feels ancient. He doesn't panic, he just lets the OS update.
He finally lets go of the deadbolt.
He really does. He returns to his little shop beneath the station, and instead of packing, he stays up all night drawing. He designs things that make absolutely no practical sense. Watches for courage, compasses for changing direction.
Mechanical lanterns that glow brighter when you ask a better question.
Yes. Out in the city, everything is shifting and shimmering. Nothing is settled, nothing is fixed. But for the first time, Elias finds it marvelous.
He anchored the lightning bolt. He took that massive Gemini influx, found the one resonant truth in the silence, and committed to it. He built the architecture for his new reality.
So what does this all mean for you, the learner, listening right now? Look at your own life. Are you holding on to a plan just because you already signed the mental paperwork?
Are you gripping the deadbolt because starting over feels like admitting you failed?
Exactly. Whether you're managing a team or analyzing data or just navigating your daily life, the decisions you made yesterday were necessary for who you were then. They built your skill set, but they are not sacred.
They are not immune to new information. You have to be willing to step into the room of unfinished maps.
You have to be open to the sudden blue doors you haven't noticed before, because if you decide your mind must stay where it's put, you'll miss the exact breakthrough you need.
And to leave you with a final thought to ponder long after this deep dive ends, let's look at the radio's final whisper in the story. Before dawn, it doesn't tell Elias he's wrong anymore. It simply whispers, "See what happens next."
Oh, I love that.
So if the radio in your own life whispered to you right now, telling you that your current fixed, sensible plan was actually the quote-unquote wrong thing, what is the new, impossible design you would stay up all night drawing? What is the permission you need to build for yourself?